Welcome back to another exciting episode of As the Corn Grows! Today we join Lawyer Ed as he explains the last wishes of Aunt Ella to Katie, the new owner of Aunt Ella's farm.
Oh, yeah, Officer Dave, yes, yeah. No, I know you're trying to line up another blind date, but Officer Dave, I only got one girl who works at this dating service who's blind, yeah, and she doesn't want it, no more. She said no more. So I'll make maybe 400 or 500 phone calls and see if maybe I can line up another date for you. Does she have to be blind? Yeah, okay, all right, good. All right, good, well, all right, I'll give you a call when I get that done, all right? Thanks a lot. Well, as I mentioned to you on the telephone, your Aunt Ella's will is very, very specific.
Well, I'm delighted, and by the way, please call me Katie.
Katie?
I have to tell you, that Aunt Ella is so special to me, she was, and that my summers on her farm are so precious.
Well, Katie, I don't know if you realize it, but your Aunt Ella and I were very, very close.
Close?
Yes. Well, we were engaged to be married about 70 years ago.
70? Well, just how old are you, Lawyer Ed?
Well, my memory is pretty good, but I remember when I was 13, they invented water. And when I was 9, I can remember them inventing dirt.
So you're of the mud era?
Yes. You know, that's how the dinosaurs got the tracks, you know? Yeah, I was there. I think one of my pets was one of those lifts of tracks. I was born in 1912.
Okay, so 1912. Wait a minute, 1912?
Let me take my shoes and socks off. We'll do the math. No.
Wait, that means you're 96 years old?
I keep fit. I eat well, exercise, and I've had a little bit of work done. It helps me in the courtroom.
Well, you don't look a day over 60.
Yeah, it helps when I go to court. It helps a lot.
Does it really? Well,
yeah.
You must have a very good plastic surgeon on retainer at every moment.
Yes, I do. He's close, just a speed dial away. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
As I was saying, Ella and we were engaged to be married.
Married?
Yes.
She never mentioned that.
Well, we tend to keep those things to ourselves, which are most painful.
Oh.
You see, the vows were never spoken.
So you never actually married then?
Well, you see, I wanted Hollywood, and Ella, she wanted Sweet Swine County. So we were star-crossed lovers, destined to live apart.
So this is why Aunt Ella never married, isn't it?
She carried the torch for the old Edsel for 70 years plus.
So did you ever marry?
Well, it took me 40 years before I met my first wife, Ella Louise.
Your first wife?
Well, I met her on the train coming to Sweet Swine County, and we had 14 magical days.
14 days?
Magical days. Magical, you know. A lot of people, they're married for an eternity, 6 months, and they have no magical days. Then one day there was a knock at the door. The federal marshals were there, and they grabbed Ella Louise, held her down on the ground, put handcuffs on her. She thought it was foreplay, and then the next thing you know, she's off to prison.
What had she done wrong?
She was insider trading.
No.
Yeah.
Get out.
No, that's right.
Well, so did you divorce her, or?
Well, I told her I would wait for her, but she insisted that I just go on without her.
Okay, so how many times have you been married?
Well, let's see. There was Ella Louise, and there was Ella May, and Ella Renee, Ella Jo, Ella Maria, and then there was Ella Clarabelle. She was great fun. They dropped the Ella off of her name for the stage name, but she was a great clown. We loved clowning around. It was great. We would take trips together, and she had kind of a little car. I mean, it would be like, she would come and just dive in that car. We'd be like 17 clowns in there with us, and we'd take trips. It was wonderful.
Wow.
That was one of the most exciting marriages of all.
But you know what's so interesting, Lawyer Ed?
What's that?
Is that all of your wives were named Ella.
That's right. They were. It was easy to remember their names. And I guess I always just wanted a little bit of the Ella in my life,
Oh, how sweet. Yeah. That's very sweet of you.
Hey. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about this will, Aunt Ella was very, very fond of you. She saw a lot of herself in you. She She saw a lot of the spit and vinegar. She saw a lot of the pioneer spunk. And, you know, you remind me a lot of her. Yeah, a lot of her. Why don't you just sidle right up here beside me and let's hop right over here into Uncle Ed's lap and let's look at this will.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Lawyer Ed, but Elmer Plow is here.
Oh, Elmer Plow, he must be early. We're working on this will. We've got some things going on in here. Are you sure it's time for him to be here?
Sure thing.
Okay, all right. Well, send him in.
Elmer Plow?
Oh, he's someone I wanted you to meet. Elmer, come in here, have a seat. Can you move over that way just a little bit more? Oh, okay. Katie, I wanted to have you meet Elmer Plow. Elmer Plow is the Sweet Swine County Extension Agent.
Elmer Plow, it is so nice to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine.
Well, yeah, as I was saying, Aunt Ella left the farmhouse and all the farmland to you. Aunt Ella was worried that you may need some help.
Help?
Yes, well, you know, running a farm is different than running a magazine. There's a lot of expertise that's needed, and that's what Elmer Plow is here for, is to provide that expertise.
Really? Well, so are you a farmer, Mr. Plow?
Oh, no, I'm not a farmer, Miss Olson. I'm the county extension agent, and I specialize in farm safety.
Safety?
Oh, of course. The key to any successful organization is the proper adherence to safety principles. This is a common fact.
Since we're going to be working so closely together, perhaps you should call me Katie.
Let me tell you something, Miss Olson.
Yeah?
You have 200 of the best acres in this entire county. With proper management, experienced farm hands, there is no way you will not have a bumper crop in the fall.
So are you going to be my farm manager then?
No. You don't understand. I am far too busy to manage a farm. I have got all kinds of safety issues in this county. This county is a disaster area. But I have the line on 2 or 3 very good people that will help you in your farming operation.
Well, I don't know, but this is all starting to sound terribly expensive.
Oh, well, look, Miss Katie, don't worry. Trust Uncle Ed. I happen to know that Aunt Ella left some money in a fund that will get you through to the first harvest.
Well, I don't know. I'm starting to get very overwhelmed.
Well, it's not overwhelming, but there is something I need to warn you about.
It's him.
I'm an old man. But I do need to warn you about Cousin John.
Cousin John? Well, that's Uncle Rupert's son,
Yes,
right?
Yes. Well, ever since Rupert passed, he has been talking about getting this farm back. He came in to see me recently, and he wanted to see the will. We talked about the will, and I explained to him that what happens with this, and he says he doesn't care what the will says. He's going to get that farm back.
Lawyer Ed is right. In addition to being worried about this one-eyed barrister, you do need to worry about Cousin John. He was spouting off at Edie's Cafe this morning about some sissified California girl isn't going to come into Sweet Swine County and run his father's farm. He has vowed to get this farm back for pennies on the dollar.
Well, I've got a message for Cousin John. You may tell him that I did not drive 2,200 miles in a Penske truck with a distressed cat in my passenger seat towing my flying bedpan of a car to turn tail and run.
Mrs. Swanson is here.
Mrs. Swanson? Tell her to come on in.
Sure thing. Oh, and I wanted to remind you about your 2 o'clock appointment.
Oh, 2 o'clock appointment. Oh, gosh, thank you very much. I have an appointment with Roberta, the new hairdresser down the street. I have to go. You all stay here, take your time, get acquainted. I'll get in touch with you next week after you get a chance to get settled. Okay?
Maybe I should leave too.